All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, against some TA. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off here with the indices. Then we're going to go over the FANG stocks. We're going to have the semiconductors, Bitcoin, and then I have 20 plus setups that we're going to be taking a look at going into next week. All right. So kicking off here with SPY's weekly time frame, I am going to point out you did close out with that heavy volume on the week with the fresh breakout. I know you have that upper wick going on right over here. But, you know, the important thing is that you did get that breakout. Now, I do think the picture is a lot clearer here on the daily time frame. If you're not new to the channel, then you did know ahead of time that going into our big FOMC day there, that we knew was going to get a rate cut, the first rate cut of the cycle. We knew the chart was set up to explode. Now, I'm not saying it's just going to go straight up here, but it certainly is going to be, it certainly hasn't gotten the move that's justified from this pattern right here. All right, so it has just started. We do have this break and retest going on here. Now, if price is to pull into 560.81 to 565.16 this week, guys, we're looking to buy that. All right, no financial advice will be given here on this channel, but I will gladly share my opinion. And, you know, we have nothing bearish to see here. If price gets down here, you're going to have a daily 9 EMA test. All right. We already know buyers are stepping in there as what we saw on Friday. The low of the candlestick is going to be 565.17. We're watching 565.16. All right. Buyers are very clearly there. So if we, you know, come back into that level, that's where we're going to be paying attention to. All right. I am looking for a new high. I'm not saying it comes this week, but, you know, it's very likely going to come this week. The big catalyst this week is going to be PC on Friday. I believe on Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think we have, let's just come over here. We're going to have our 10 a.m. data. So Monday over here, nothing really. All right. You're going to have 10 a.m. data over there, 10 a.m. data over there. Thursday, what are we also going to have? All right. Do we have 10 a.m. data? Yes, we do. All right, you have some Fed speakers, but the big kahuna here this week is going to be PC that comes out on Friday. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be, you know, moving the market, but just like FOMC there, we have these catalysts that we know are probably going to be moving the market. We should definitely expect a market movement off of that, and the charts like the setup going into these events. You know, I think we're probably going higher this week. If we pull back to start off the week because of what I'm going to show you, you know, here over the next like 5 minutes, you know, that's fine. We're looking for that to be a buy the dip opportunity there. Now, coming down to the 15-minute time frame, we're just going to go over the levels we're paying attention to. All right. On the upside is resistance. We have 468.69. Get above there, we have 470.36, and then 472.88. On the downside of support, we have 566.57, 565.16. And, you know, I'm not really going to mark anything out over here. I'm just going to say, you know, if you're not new to the channel, then, you know, we use the golden pocket. You know, picture perfect reaction over here, pull into here, expect buyers to step in again down here between 563.40 and 565.50. All right, we already know buyers are going to be down there. This is your demand zone that we're expecting buyers to hold. Again, on the daily time frame, you can see if we pull back into there, we have the daily 9, guys. Price does not like to just slice underneath these things. We at least get these bounces, all right? They don't have to be big, but we typically do get the bounces there if we're going to come back. You know, even if you know, fail here, you're still probably going to, you know, dance around here. So do not look for sellers just to, you know, bring price right through the zone. Expect buyers to step in there. Okay, we're going to come over here to Mr. VIX before we go over QQQ, and I'm just going to point out 15-minute time frame. You do have this bullish divergence just continuously, you know, getting put in here. It hasn't really played out in my book here. I want to see this thing get up into overbought territory, and then we will, you know, start looking for it to cool off. But as of right now, guys, you know, NQ, it's kind of right in the middle of this RSI over here. And typically, you know, when we're going to sell, we're going to see NQ over here have that 15-minute bearish divergence. And then VIX will have the 15-minute bullish divergence. That's just what I've been seeing recently. You know, ES likes to go along with those as well. We don't have that right now. All right. So I'm just going to say I think VIX could come back down into here. But, you know, at some point, we're probably going to get VIX getting a bounce this week. Considering you're coming into the heavily traded zone, when we got over here, this was your last stand. All right. Every time you came into the zone, you have gotten a reaction for a very long time. All right. You're just very unlikely to not get your reaction inside of the zone. All right. You come down into it, buyers. Come down into it, buyers. You came underneath it. Okay. You still have buyers stepping right at the bottom here. And then you got under and you had another reaction when you came up to test it over there. All right. You topped out at the top of the zone right here. You could tell this was your range for a few days there. All right, bunch of stuff going on here. Stuff right there, there. We have a crap ton of reactions. Guys, do not expect price to just come right down through it. We probably do get a little bounce here, but keep in mind, just like I remind you over here, when, it was looking like it, going into FOMC, it's set up for either direction here, all right? But again, we're coming into that daily 9 EMA from underneath it. All right, you're not above it or over here. You're expecting buyers to step up over here. We're expecting sellers. All right, that's just how I was seeing it. Same thing like over here. I think if we test it again, it's probably going to be the same outcome. So keep that in mind. QQQ. Let's go over how the weekly time frame is looking. All right, I know we got a bunch of stuff. I'll zoom in for us, guys. You have this like base formation going on here, and it doesn't look bad at all to me. All right, it looks like you have this right here, and as of this week, all right, you're looking to change this trend. We just need next week to pop above 486.40 and boom. All right, we're probably coming up to 503.52 over the next 1 to 2 weeks after that point. Coming down to the daily time frame, guys, you could tell buyers are still stepping in. The fact that you got all the way up here, you came up right to the 0.786 fib. If you're not new to the channel, then you know what this 0.786 fib represents to us. All right, it's a line in the sand. All right, for the opposing side to step in. They stepped in perfectly over here. I'm going to point out NQ, just like QQ, stepped in perfectly. The fact that you have revisited this after making a higher low right here tells us you're probably about to break up above that. You already made the higher high. You got a perfect rejection. The high is 20,200. All right, I literally said on Twitter, as we're pushing into here, I'll just point out where that was. 15-minute bearish divergence was literally popping up right here, guys. Quick little plug for the Twitter. If you guys aren't already following me on the Twitter, guys, I will be posting guaranteed 2 to 3 charts per day over there. If we're in the market week, it's probably going to be, some intraday price action you could take advantage of, just like this. And if you're on the weekend, I'll post my, top trade setups. I'm going to be posting the top 5 stocks I see, for upside potential going into next week. That will be a thread that I, I'm going to be dropping later on today over on the Twitter. But yeah, link is down below. I would appreciate the support if you just want to go over there and, hit that follow button, join our little community over there. We have like almost a 10,000 person community over here on YouTube. I'm going to try and do the same over there on Twitter. So it will not be, it will be worth your time. It will not be a waste of time. I have value over there just like we do over here every day. All right. Well, 5 to 6 days a week. But yeah, we're pointing out a sell in between this level right here, 20,084 and 20,200. Why? Because 20,200 is right where you had this 0.786 fib sitting. Well, where did you come up to? You, had sellers step in right before your line in the sand. All right. And now you had this decent sized sell step in. And, I'm just going to say, guys, you wouldn't revisit here if you weren't going to break it. You already, got slammed down over here. The same thing could be seen on QQQ. You now have an equivalent high. Actually, you have a higher high, slightly higher high. You pulled back, filled this gap left open over here. And this is why, I say sometimes on the channel, guys, when you see me have these green lines, these are my gap fills. A lot of people do these differently, and you're going to see them have like, over here. And, because price, it closed right here, and then you gap down over there. Well, I'm just going to say there's no structure in between this and this. So what am I going to be paying attention for my reaction? Right where that structure is. It's going to be right here. All right. There's a reason price didn't come all the way down here and fill that gap. The reaction came from the top of the candlestick, which is right here at 478.83. Why? Because there was no structure in between here and here. So right here, this is probably where you're going to get buyers step in. Just a little, buyer seller psychology for you. There you go. All right. You'll find a bunch of those golden tidbits sprinkled throughout these videos. I'll walk you through my own TA process. Okay. But yeah, slightly higher high in my book, guys. This is more bullish than bearish. We're technically in an uptrend ever so slightly over here, but the fact you made the higher low and then equivalent high over here tells us you're either going to consolidate here, maybe in a flag like manner, go maybe like that, and then, you know, boom, 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 and then break up, and you're probably going to make a run straight for over here, or you're just going to continue along your merry way over here next week. We don't know how this is going to go. Like I said, PC on Friday, we could get some consolidation this week. We could not get some consolidation. We get some continuation. I have absolutely no idea, but what I do know is in the end, we're probably going to get a resolution from here to the upside. Consolidation or not, probably get that to the upside. All right, levels you are paying attention to as support and resistance. Support is going to be 480.38. We're going to take this off right here. I know you got your reaction, but from that point on, if you come back to this low, you're just going to be watching 477.93, all right? So we got 480.38, 477.93, and underneath there, guys, we're going to come back to the daily time frame. I want to point out you really don't have much, all right? You lose 477.93, you know, you have all this going on, but you're probably going to come dance around this low over here. All right, and maybe, you know, consolidate down here. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it can happen. Oh, pardon me. Let's go with, nope, wrong button. There we go. That's how I'm seeing this thing. I don't think you're going to even come all the way back down here, but if you do expect buyers, that is going to be, you know, a little breakout level, and then you come over here, the hourly time frame, and, you know, going into our event there, we did point out you had on SPY and QQ, you had these inverse head and shoulders patterns. This is going to be your neckline. You come into that neckline, expect buyers. It's the same concept that we just spoke about SPY, and if, you know, if your memory's a little shot, there you go. Pull back into your neckline from this cup and handle pattern. All right, this the whole thing right here. This is your neckline. It looks like a little shield there. If we can make a little, you know, person with some pointy ears. All right, here's your little mouse. There's your nose. That's a little ugly nose. And boom. All right, there are the eyes. Okay, but you pull back into them. All right, and you're going to create some hair here. All right, and, you know, maybe he's going to have some spikes going off to the side over here. And the rest of his head, there you go. Just normal hair. Okay, but cup and handle, guys, you probably, you know, are going to see an equivalent move from up here down to here. I know we got the face. Don't mind the face, all right? What I'm talking about is this drawing right here. We're going to take that. We're going to bring that up. Where does that bring you? 600 schmeckles, all right? We already covered this pattern in detail without all of my my drawings here. I'm just going to hit Control-Z a bunch of times here. All right, and there's our little elf man going away with the pointy ears. Boom. All right, it's looking mighty bullish, mighty fine, and QQ kind of has that same exact look, except, you know, it's just not at all-time highs, but you still do have this pullback for a higher low for the handle, and then over here, boom, okay, neckline, all between here. You get above, you're probably going for a ride. All right, so that's QQ for you. Resistance is going to be 482.73, 485.54, but if you come back up here, you're probably just going to break it. Line in the sand for bears is going to be 486.50. We're going to call 486.50. Break above there. I do think you're going to start heading up to 503.52. But, you know, in the short term, you got 488.80, 490.73, 493.15 gap. As I pointed out over there, 498.44 and the 503.52. Why is there a crap ton more resistances, you asked, than support? Because, guys, we're biased to the upside because of, you know, the larger picture point of view we have here drawn on this channel. Everything looks like it's about to explode, and that's that. All right, I was very vocal about it before it happened. I was vocal about, you know, looking for sellers here in the golden pocket, and I was vocal about if you get sellers stepping in here, we're going to be bullish on this pullback, because at the end of the day, SPY was doing this. It got within $1 of all-time highs. Why is it going to do this if sellers are going to get their way? It's not. All right, you're not going to develop a massive range like this. This is a 50-point range. You're not going to do that. All right, like you could, but it's extremely unlikely. And why are we going to bet on things that are unlikely? It just makes absolutely no sense. Over here, you did have that exact thing happen, but you know what? Hey, all right, I'm still going to say it was extremely likely and not going to happen. But yeah, now we have broken out. We're looking for that next leg higher. That's that. All right, IWM, how you looking? All right, breakout from the inverse head and shoulders pattern. I'm just going to break out the weekly time frame over here and just remind everyone you have a massive range. Break and retest off that range for how long? How long, you ask? All right, it was almost a year. All right, 2/3 of a year, you were literally just consolidating, break and retest off the top of this range. And now you are ascending into the heavens, and it does look like you are going to be coming up to new high. Now, I'm going to point out over here, I actually have this all drawn out for us over here on RTY. All right. The fact that you have already gotten above this 0.786 fib tells me that this level up here is likely. So pullbacks are going to be buying opportunities. Now, you had a lot of structure over here. This is where your sell orders were when you busted above. All right, the switch has been flipped. All right, you pull back into it. You expect buyers to now be sitting here. This was a previous supply zone. Now it is going to be turned into a demand zone, which is why you pull back into it right here. Boom, you got another high the next day because buyers did step in right there. Now you're getting priced pulling back into there. We're going to expect buyers to step in again. All right, but on IWM, the levels we're going to be paying attention to is going to be 218.29, 220.77, 222.45, 224.98, 94, 224.94, 226.64, and then 229.84. At the end of the day, I think 229.84 will be tested. I think we head up to 236.31 up there. Just because, guys, you have a giant double bottom going on here, ugly double bottom, higher low over here, but nonetheless, you have your neckline sitting in here at 222.45. You broke above there, all right? Like, let's see, the pullback there was 18 bucks, all right? What's $18 above that? You're going for a freaking ride. You're going to be taken straight to 236.31. Rates have now been cut. That's, what is it going to benefit most? All right, speculative tech stocks, as well as the, with those, am I wording this right? I know I'm thinking about it right, but let me talk about it. I don't talk about this stuff too often. All right, but, we got the rate cut. That's going to be benefiting the speculative tech stocks that, I'm guessing low margin stocks that, speculative guys over there. And then you got the small caps, of course, guys. All right. These are smaller companies. They have less access to capital. So what happens when you, cut rates? Guys, they automatically make more money. Their funding is less expensive. All of these things, they benefit these kinds of things. All right. So this thing's going to be going for a ride probably over the coming months. And we're going to be, talking about every step of the way. And right now, I think this dip is just going to end up being a buying opportunity. If you see it pull into 218.29, we're looking to buy that thing. All right. I'm personally, really liking how RTY has been moving for me. I've been trading it the past 2 days now, and it has been a freaking killer. I'm liking it. All right. Coming on over here to DIA, guys. The downside support we're going to be watching is going to be. Do I have my magnet on? Yeah, there we go. All right, but I don't have that on. There we go. All right, on the downside, what are we paying attention to? We got 416.55. That's your break and retest level. You already had one reaction off that level, so we'll see what happens. But you got the daily 9 EMA sitting right below there. 416.55, 412.12, 408.71. We're not going to talk about these levels down there, all right, because, this thing just got a fresh breakout. And, this thing does look like on the weekly chart pretty freaking nasty, all right? You held this uptrend right here. If you're really going to mark this thing out up here, kind of got this ugly looking break and retest, but you held that weekly 9, momentum's to the upside here on this weekly time frame. That's how it is. Now you got, a new high, heavy volume. You could see more highs, okay? This thing does not look bearish. So that's that. All right, now we're going to move off of the indices here. We took 17 minutes on the indices. We're going to talk about the big boys, all right? We'll kick it off with Apple over here. All right, so we did talk about this fallen wedge pattern going into the event. You did also, boom, all right? You freaking exploded, and you bounced back right from the bottom of that falling wedge pattern, and now you're at the neckline over here, all right? Well, we're going to call it your downtrend. If there was, another little thing over here that we connect to, we'll call it inverse head and shoulders pattern. You kind of do have that ugly little inverse head and shoulders, like a continuation style one. What I was really hammering home over here is, we were really bullish on this dip. Why? All right. Like, I didn't play it, but, I'll tell you right now, I was saying right over here, downside is it's got to be limited. You're either going to bounce back from right here in this pattern, the falling wedge pattern, the bull flag, or you're going to be coming down into this golden pocket, probably 209.99, 210, and then you get some buying action stepping in. And, heavy volume on this. Maybe you consolidate around here for a little bit, but I think it will just be, a giant. You kind of already have that pattern, actually. Okay. You have a cup and handle here. Yeah, I guess the cup and handle, literally, guys, cup and handle is just an inverse head and shoulders, which I love, without the left shoulder. So that's pretty much it. This thing, I'm looking for more upside. If you can break out of that downtrend, I know we got sellers right there. All right. I guess the level that is being respected is going to be 232.92. So break above 232.92, 237.23. But if you're buying on this dip, 223.90 looks pretty promising to me. That is where you broke above here pretty impulsively. Pull back into you probably do have buyers stepping in there. You're going to have the daily 9. What do we always say about it? Get ready for price to dance around it. So as you see, you got back under. you know, found the opposing side step in there. You found the opposing side step in there until you really got above. Now, if you, you know, come back in, expect now the opposing side to be buyers. So expect buyers off the 223.90 for then the target of the, you know, level 237.23. That's what you would be targeting there. That's what I would be targeting there. All right. No financial advice. Goog, how are we looking? I think this is probably looking the best right here. I've seen this one before where Amazon just kept looking nasty. And I was like, oh my God, there we go. Did I sell too early? There we go. I think, you know, honestly, this thing's going to keep ripping faces, guys. I think it's going to keep ripping faces. I think we're getting all the way up to 201.20. And that is that. But Goog over here, guys, you know, this thing is just in the, you know, beginning stages of that chart I just showed you on Amazon. We got over this fair value gap right here. And above there, we do have 165.03 resistance. We know sellers are sitting right there. All right. High of day was 164.99. So within 4 cents of our level, we know sellers are there. Get above there and you have absolutely nothing until you come over here. All right. You're going to have probably a little resistance right over there at 167.63. But you know, you're probably coming up to 170.41. If I had to take a guess, just looking at this chart, all right, you're right here at the weekly 9. You know, I think you're probably about to bust a move, like a big impulsive move above it. You either get some rejection here and you pull back to maybe like 160, 161-ish down here, or you're going to keep going, baby. You're going to keep going. And I think 178.21 is going to be, it's going to be a valid target here on this push. Very likely could see a move here and then start seeing sellers stepping right over there. All right, so that is what I am personally targeting. But yeah, 170.41 looks likely in the short term to me, and that is that. If you pull back, daily 9 right there at the bottom of this fair value gap is 160.40, so that is something you could pay attention to. But, you know, I'm just saying this thing looks great. Weekly chart looks great. Monthly chart, it also looks absolutely freaking fantastic. All right, you got 9 days left. I can almost guarantee you're not going to give this whole move back, which means you're going to be ending out with the hammer candlestick off the all-time high break and retest. This is honestly the sexiest setup that I could really see here on the weekly, the monthly time frame. All right, in the broader scheme of things, give it some time. This thing's going to be pushing back up the highs, and everyone's going to have a jolly good time. But, you know, you pull back to previous all-time high, holding that monthly 9 EMA, the short-term moving average there on this chart. Doesn't matter what time frame, you know, we're just following along how we do the same exact way on every single time frame. Why? Because everything works the same way. Okay, we can see this on the 5-minute time frame. It's probably going to perform the same way. It's, you know, looking on the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame, you know, you see things on there, you know, this type of structure, it's probably going to lead to a bigger move than the 5-minute time frame. But at the end of the day, you know, this is, you know, psychology written on these charts in these candlesticks. And yeah, this thing is probably going to end up back up here. That's how it's looking. Okay. Amazon, you broke above the 0.786 fib line in the sand. You had sellers step in there yesterday. Today, or not today, Friday, you had heavy volume there. We're watching 192.86. Above there, your resistance is going to be 196.62 and then 201.20. I do think 201.20 is incoming. What the heck is this crazy heavy volume? All right. You had the quad witching, you know, that's what it was on Friday, quad witching day. That's probably why, but at the end of the day, this thing definitely just busted a move here and closed out at the high. It looks like it's going to keep going. All right, and on the weekly time frame, you can always also say it looks like a freaking monster. It looked like a monster in the making down here. We called it before the move happened, and now, guys, you know, I kind of wish I just held through the whole thing, and because it's probably coming up here. Let's be completely real, but you know, I also do think this thing is going to serve anyone well who you know, loaded the boat down here at this like very sexy confluence spot down there. There was no denying the setup that was loading. I know this candle didn't form yet, but you were buying into the weakness right at the perfect spot, and that was a great dip buy. Again, shared on the Twitter, so go over there, post notifications, turn those on. And, you know, I'm not going to waste your time over there. I'm not posting BS. It's just straight up charts that I think look really good and could make you money. There you go. Microsoft, how we rocking and rolling here on the weekly time frame. I'm not going to say things look the best with how they just, you know, closed out there. You are stalling out right here in the golden pocket, but I will go over support and resistance. I don't think this head and shoulders pattern is going to, you know, do anything there. We're not going to talk about that. All right. I know we got a bunch of lower levels here, but you know, the only thing you're really going to be paying attention to, I didn't want to do that one. I want to do that one. Only thing you're going to be paying attention to are the levels at this point in time. You pull back at the 425.86 to 430.82. That's going to be your, you know, heavily traded zone here. It could be flipped back and forth between supply and demand. All right. You got supply, supply, supply. All right. You came back in. We were thinking it was going to be demand. What happened? It turned back into supply, supply. Is it finally going to be time that you flip into demand? Probably, if you test it, right? The daily 9 is going to be right over there. And, you know, it's a perfect storm. You slice back under over here. Your price was already underneath that daily 9. Right now, things are above the daily 9. You pull back into it, probably get that positive reaction right there. And it'd be picture perfect. I do think this thing is probably going to also be running back up to the high. Let's actually just point out this stock right here. FNGU. Yeah. All right. So I didn't even, someone requested this today. I didn't even know this was the FANG stocks until I, you know, apparently I've charted this in the past over here. But guys, same thing. All right. This thing just looks absolutely beautiful. You're consolidating right underneath this all-time high over here. Same thing as SPY. Why are you going to push up here, pull back to not, you know, buyers clearly want it. Bears don't want it right here. The buyers want it. You got a little base going on here, and it looks like you're about to explode. So, you know, that's something to point out. Now, moving back over here to Microsoft, the levels you're paying attention to, guys, obviously the zone, but your resistance is going to be 435.73, 441.85, and 445.66. Get above 450. We'll say 451. You're coming up here to 468.35. Meta, how we looking, guys? You pull back into this, you know, whole little spot here, 542.81. You're probably, you know, that's a buy the dip opportunity for a move up to 580 up here. I already pointed out here. All right, just take this to this. It's this. Okay, like this thing is about a move, and you know, in reality, it's that. And you know, most people, the measure move would be the whole thing. I'm being so conservative here of this target. Okay, but 580 is definitely on the board right now. We could very well be heading up to 600 with SPY over there. Pull back into these levels, expect buyers. Tesla, all right, and Meta, arguably, like this is a really sexy breakout setup. This thing has been taking a long time. So guys, if we pulled, like, I'm serious, this is free money opportunity right here. This is great. Just like we pointed out Google at the bottom there, we pointed out Amazon as another free money opportunity, guys. When I see these things, I'll point them out. And Meta, this is clear as day one of them. You had so much consolidation and selling happening from right around here. You finally just broke up in a big way here. You know, chances are you pull back into it, you're going to get a lot of buyers there, especially 523.86 to 531.49. Guys, you clearly, you know, clearly extended your little range you had going on over here. Yeah, pull back. You get buyers step in that zone. All right, so expect it. Tesla, guys, you had the big breakout. You had this uptrend we were watching over here. You had 233.09 resistance. Okay, you got sellers right there. Well, now you've broken above it, and now you're coming back into it. But, you know, again, you're going to have the daily 9 sitting right there. So if you pull back into 233.09, that's your break and retest level. I think that's a potential entry for this thing to come all the way up here to 265, and then the high right here, which was 271. All right, but, you know, you look on the weekly time frame, this thing, you know, I know it's taking its time right here, but in reality, it's probably going to end up resolving to the upside here. Okay? Like, you got a big setup, you know, false breakout or not. Same concept we just talked about. Why are you going to, that's your high. You made the lower low. Why are you going to literally drag yourself all the way back up here and then pull back, not make, you know, really a higher high there like you did, but, you know, not with a closing high over here on the weekly time frame. And then pull back. Nah, it's the cup and handle we just talked about. You also got this, like, you know, inverse head and shoulders pattern type of look to you. The thing looks like it's about to make a move right there. All right, so that's that. We're going to go over the semiconductors real quick, and then we got to run through those pretty quick. I don't want to take up too much of your time today. We're already at 28 minutes. We're going to try and get you out of here by, you know, we're going to 40-minute mark. All right, so SMH, hit it with the break and retest. Pretty similar to one of the trade ideas I'm going to share today. But you did just get that downtrend break and retest right there, daily 9. It's, you know, being respected there as you pull into it. You know, above 239.14, 245.87, then you're probably coming into this 250.85, 255.92 supply zone up there. That is, you know, exactly where you found sellers last time. So, you know, expect that. But this thing's looking really good right here with the fresh downtrend break and retest. I love it. All right. And that sets up semis for a good time. NVDA is the weakest looking, you know, chip, in my opinion, right here. I don't like the look of it. I personally like ARM, Avgo, AMD, and SMCI. MU honestly isn't looking honestly anything but NVDA right now. NVDA is, I would say, you got your little push there. I wouldn't say it's the best time to trade this thing, right? Like, I'm going to be looking for sellers here. You clearly got a lot of supply ahead, like right above. There's no point, okay? But your support is going to be 115.38, 113.24, and 108.80. Resistance is 118.04, 120.79, 123.10. Get above 124.50. You probably make a ride up to 130.75. All right, Avgo got the fresh breakout here. Again, why are you going to push up here to not break above? All right, same concept we just talked about. Also, you have a giant double bottom sitting here, and this right here is your neckline right at 172.81. All right, so you can see that level right over there. This thing looks like it's about to explode, and if you can break above that 172.81 level, and keep going there, you probably do just shoot straight up here. And if you pull back from that point, maybe into 166.85, huge buying opportunity, in my opinion. That'd be break and retest off of here. And once you get above 173, we'll know that you're probably coming up here because, again, line the sand here for the opposing side. If you get above it, pullback or not, you're probably coming up and having 100% retracement at that point. That's why it's called the golden pocket. All right. Well, at least I call it the golden pocket. There we go. All right. It's nice and yellow for us. AMD. All right. You're actually turning this into demand. You can see the supply before, but I like how this thing is shaping up. Probably do push up to 162.04 this week, which is going to, again, be, horizontal resistance as well as your golden pocket, 0.618 fib. Expect sellers up there in between 162 and 173. Expect, some sort of consolidation here or a pullback. Ideally, this thing, goes something like this. All right, and then you eventually get that pullback back into the zone. You probably get buyers stepping in there, and then maybe you get something like that. But also, this is a pretty nasty setup. This thing very, could do what we just saw Amazon do and just start trekking up to the highs over here. Don't excuse this thing. What the heck is that? All right, but that AMD support is going to be 153.64, and under there, you're talking 148.99. SMCI. I think a big move is loading over here. You're just kind of ranging around this daily 9 at this point. You got the increasing volume on Friday. It looks like you want to break out of this thing, and I think you got a shot there. Okay, I'll leave it at that. TSM, all right, inverse head and shoulders pattern above 175.44. We're going to be looking for a move up to 182.75, and at that point, you're probably coming up to 193.47. All right, support going to be 171.54, and underneath there, I don't think you're going to get under there, but underneath there, 167.67. All right, again, just my opinion there. MU, I really like the action, and I like what's happening here. You're looking like you want to break up. All right, you've been getting rejected here for quite some time at this, key spot around $90. All right, but you clear as day have this little, top of your range that you have here. And if you can really break above here, which the top of that candlestick is going to be 91.47, you probably get a straight move up to 93.58 and then 97.69. You have earnings right around the corner this Wednesday. So that's probably going to be bringing the move. If I had to guess on the movement of that earnings call, all right, upside. ARM. This is, I think this is my favorite chip stock right here. I think this is literally setting up just like one of these things right over here. This, it looks like an ugly mess, right? All right. Well, you're consolidating above the daily 9 in an uptrend. Clear as day, you pulled back into where you just broke out from. This is where you had supply sitting here. You had, sellers sitting here for a while. Now you broke above it. This is a classic break and retest. We know you're probably getting up here to 152.55 because you got the golden pocket sitting right there. It starts right there. So, this dip is a buying opportunity. You're either looking to buy the dip right here or you're buying the dip right here. Either way, I think you're probably going to hold right here. It's the top of where you just, it's where you this previous range, whatever you want to call this thing. Break and retest potential, daily 9, retest potential for the move up to there. So I think this is my favorite chip stock right now that I'm looking at. Okay. QCOM. All right, full of tricks. Came right up here, 176.36 resistance, pulled back. Again, same concept. Why is it going to do that? If it wants to either consolidate here and then break up, or it wants to just, run it back up. Extremely heavy volume here on the weekly time frame. It does look pretty ugly. Rejected that weekly 9 there. But, on the daily, I could see some potential here. You're either going to consolidate here and then break up, or you're probably going to break up. You could, hey, you could, completely just go against what this thing suggests is probably going to happen, and come all the way down here. I'm not going to say it's the best looking thing right now, considering this is just out of nowhere. I don't want to see things like that. All right, that's ugly to me. I don't want these surprises. You want these surprises? No, you want to bet when the odds are in your favor, and you're thinking the thing doesn't look so bad, and thing gets all the way back down here, 163 from 176, 2 days, in freaking insane. Okay, so that's QCOM. Break above 176.36. You probably do want to move up to $200. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna go over Bitcoin here. Bitcoin doesn't look bad at all. If it pulls back, it creates a and probably just a cup and handle type of thing. Handle for that cup and handle. You got the double bottom neckline. It's going to be 65,103. Break above there, probably start pushing up to new high. You got in the weekly time frame. I pointed this out in the last video. How does this look to me, guys? You got a giant bull flag. Do you see what I see? Because I clear as they see it. All right, you got a giant bull flag. Break up, you have next leg up. You could solid right over here from a previous all-time high. Like, this thing looks like it's going to freaking explode. Okay, that's that. Coin, how we looking, guys? All right, pull back into your golden pocket right there from this whole move up. Now you're in a falling wedge pattern. It looks like, hey, get some Bitcoin breaking out over that neckline we just talked about, double bottom neckline. This thing's going to go for a ride, probably up to 21192, and then maybe even all the way back up here. It looks like it definitely has an explosive setup in the making here. MSTR, you already did start breaking out of this downtrend. We pointed out, as you could see, past few downtrends, you have had a positive reaction there. I really like the action here, getting bought up from the golden pocket. And now we're looking for 150 to 160. And I do think that is coming this week. But yeah, I mean, if you pull back here, you're going to have an inverse head and shoulders. Like, guys, everything's setting up really bullishly. I just realized, I think I pointed out some bullish potential structure on every single chart we've covered. Why? Because that's just how it's set up. I'm not a perma bull. I'm not a perma bear. But I will point out how these charts are setting up. And like, anyone who's looking at these things are bearish, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Why did price push back up here when you had this? You had a chance to sell. Now you have an equivalent high. All right? If sellers were going to take the wheel, they would have stopped you right here and pushed you back onto this low, and then you would have gotten under that low, and then you have your like official real downtrend and a breakout of this massive range. Instead, we're seeing a push into the middle of the range, which happens to be this previous high. All right, which creates the equivalent high, and now you're just you're trendless right now. Okay, sellers are very clear not in control here. That's all I'm saying. I'm pretty much all of these charts I'm pointing out. All right, Mara, I think things are turning around here. It's not the prettiest setup. Over 1672, you have 1873 incoming. TSLA, this is where I think things are going to be heating up here. I think you're about to have a downturn break. I'm going to be watching this thing, and I'm going to, be probably taking a position off of this one. I think this thing is going to be having a run. If you break above 975, I think you're going to be pushing up here to 1275, and then probably testing 1484. That's where you really broke down from, and that's what I'll be watching for. All right, now we're going to try and go through this pretty quick because, like I said, I want to get you guys out of here. We're at the 37-minute mark. It's at 40 minutes. Let's see what we got going over here, okay? So we're going to go check out some setups, all right? Obviously, we have CLSK there. I'm just going to run through this quickly. I know we already talked about them, but just so you have them all in a list format here, these are the big boys that I think are going to be, like, they have the best odds here of continue upside. These charts are looking the best, okay? So we got Goog. We just talked about CLSK. This is, definitely something I'm watching. So, I'll point it out, but we just talked about it. Goog over here, this thing looks like it's going to explode. All right, it looks like it definitely can continue coming up here. So, I rate this number one on my list. I'm going to be completely honest. This is a meta. I think they're the sexiest charts we got going here, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but we got Goog. Amazon just broke above the, 0.786 fib there at 190.60. I think it's likely that it starts pushing up here to 201.20. Microsoft, you got this guy going on. If you pull back into your, expect buyers to pop up there. Like, this is clear as day to me. Break and retest right here off of 425.86. If you see it, no financial advice, but buy it. And again, no financial advice. That's my opinion. I will, do these things, okay? Meta, it's another one that's just clear as day, except it's even more clear as day, okay? I'm going to put this one, this is at the number 2 spot behind Goog. You pull back into this thing clearly it's ready to go, all right? This is going to be your opportunity if you pull back into this area, especially 523.86 to 531.49. Come over here, the next one, we're talking Tesla, okay? You just broke out. And, I know you're in the golden pocket, but this does set you up. I'm not going to play this one because, again, you're in the golden pocket. This isn't a setup. I don't like taking these things, okay? But, you know, I like the breakout trade where you can enter on something like we just pointed out, Meta. All right. Or you get in the setup early on Goog or something like Amazon when I see these setups loading. I like doing that. And then I know I have this little area to play around with them. If I'm entering over here, all right, I know like this whole move is free money to me. All right. I'm expecting, sellers to step in over here at the golden pocket. But, that little area between, I like that. Whereas over here on Tesla, we're just in there. So you have to like take that risk. It really depends how you're looking at the charts. All right. I just use this tool and I don't want to go against that. But yeah, 233.09, that's your breakout level. So if you pull back into it, that could be a potential entry there for, the move back up to the highs over here, which is going to be, 244.24. Just watch the 245.63 gap fill right there. And then potentially up here to 265. I like it. All right. SPY in general, I just threw on this list because, hey, again, with the break and retest going on here, pull back in this area, this is your buying opportunity. It's clear as day. All right. SMH, another one. It's clear as day. Break and retest. Okay. You want to talk about the other one we're going to talk about? Soxel. Okay. This thing looks ready to go. This thing also, this is the same thing as SMH, just leveraged. And it looks like it definitely could recover here. This thing continuously makes new highs, no matter, like, even though it's leveraged and you see larger pullbacks here. And that's why, let's look at it this way. Same spot right there. Same spot right there. Except we come over SMH. Why is this one a lot, higher to So it does eat itself, and these things are leveraged, but this thing is clear as day set up to go. All right. So 37.11, 42.88, and then 52.25. That's going to be my target for the stocks. 52.25 for this leveraged ETF. Okay. We're coming back over here to the big boys. Got a little off topic. Avga, I already shared my thoughts on this. I really like it above 173. You're in breakout mode. You're probably coming up to 185.16. AMD, share my thoughts on that. I really like that guy. SMCI, it's clear as day loading there. And then ARM, I told you this was my favorite chip stock right now. I really do like this. I think it's literally something like this. I know it looks ugly, but this is probably just going to be a pullback to the daily 9 along this uptrend. And, as you can see, when you consolidate and put out in a range like you are here, that's when you get the big moves. All right, that's when you go there. Maybe you get a break and retest entry again, but then you can potentially get an entry for that. And that only took 1 month to go from here to up there, 50%. This thing can move. It's probably going back up to the highs. This could be giving you your entry right there. We now know it's time to go because this is your heavily traded zone and you were spending so much time under it. It's now time to go. Okay. I like the setup. UCOM already pointed out, but this thing's kind of also, not, I don't like action like that. I just don't. Okay. I pointed out Target last week. We'll just talk about it here. I still think it's heading up to 163 there. But you did get the, buyer step in there after your weekly hammer as well as your daily hammer right off of the 0.618 fib. That was the ideal entry right there. That's why I had this little circle ahead of time. We were up here when I made that. All right. You pulled exactly into that. We got the reaction. You could pull back into 152.92, but I do think eventually you're going to end up here at 162. All right, next one we're talking VKTX. Weekly time frame is what I really want to point out. You get that bull flag setup. It's pretty similar to what I just pointed out on Bitcoin. But this thing looks like it's getting ready for a ride. Above 70.96, you're targeting an 81.86. That is what I'm seeing over there. Clear as day on the weekly time frame. You can also see it here on the daily. Schwab, all right. Now, this was originally going to be just, a potential, hey, maybe an impulsive short that happens again. You get another leg down. I don't know how this thing's going to be going down, but you do have this downtrend break here, this pennant break and retest. And I do think this thing doesn't look too bad. I know it's just biased to the downside on it, but hey, break above 65.85, 67.40 could be very well incoming pretty quick. And then you're targeting 69.47, which is where you really broke down from. You got these two touch points, tried holding on over there. Probably found buyers in pre-market, and then you faded it into the open. Okay. Rivian, this is a bearish one. This is one that, was set up pretty bullishly, but at this point, you just broke above the 0.786 fib. It now makes this likely over here. Daily RSI is not even oversold yet. We know this thing could really fall off. It could go for massive runs and then fall off a cliff. I think we probably do see it come down to 10.15. All right. So that's just that. Shop. All right. I like the weekly time frame. We literally pointed out here when it was retesting there. Then we pointed out in last week's video, I believe the bullish reaction had off of where we pointed out the first time. All right. And you had that downtrend. You broke out of there. This thing looks amazing. Okay, it looks amazing. Looks like it's coming back up. Excuse me, I always get these hiccups, man, when I start trying to talk fast to get you guys out of here quick. All right, we're gonna put on the golden pocket there, come down to there. You know, you're right in here, but you break above 82.50, we'll call it. You're coming up to 91.57. That's gonna be where you're targeting over time. All right, crowd. We literally pointed this one. You know, it was looking really ugly because we had the crowd. You know, the really bad thing that happened. We had a lot of them actually. There was like a crap ton of bad things around here. All right, but we had was it that or was it CRM? No, yeah, it was crowd. Crowd has the really bad one. But yeah, either way, CRM is also setting up here. We point this one out over there, but we're gonna come back over here to CrowdStrike. All right, on the weekly time frame, you can see this thing's probably about to push up here into this golden pocket. The key level that I'm seeing is 338.45. High of that candlestick right there. But on the daily time frame, this thing is in explosion mode right now. Daily RSI is coming into overbought territory. I think, you know, you could consolidate, like continue to pull back here and then move up. So watch it on the pullback into 273.16 to 288, 280.88. Demand zone down there watching. Okay. I already pointed out SOXL, Soxel. We'll move over here to CRM. Again, I pointed out literally right over here, gave you the perfect entry, guys. We really, you know, we miss sometimes, but on the trade ideas that I put together for you guys, there's, they very rarely miss. So guys, just if you want to make money just consistently each week and you're a swing trader, you know, just skip to the end of these weekly videos and you're going to have a freaking blast. All right. Please watch the whole video. But at the same time, you know, I understand, you know, I'd say for unless you're, you know, trading the indices, you know, most value is going to be found here at the end of these weekly videos. Okay. So I understand this thing, massive break and retest. We pointed out at the bottom of this when it was happening right here, happening here. And then you got the downtrend break over here and you hit it with the break and retest. And that is also something we point out that potential entry there for the move back up here to 268.36. You've now gotten back up there, guys. You're at the top of the range again. This thing's going to break out at one point and you're probably going to get an equivalent move from here to here. All right, that's 14%. That brings you, yeah, you're coming back up to all-time highs, okay? I really like how this thing is positioned. You have like this massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. And yeah, I like this. All right. I like this for this move right here. All right. You break up above here. Take off all that. You break above here. You're probably coming up here. All right. So keep it on your radar. And yeah, I'll point out if we get the pullback opportunity. But, you know, I think the pullback opportunity we just saw already. And we already pointed out. And, you know, I think now you're playing the breakout and maybe the break and retest over there. And then, you know, you get this entry, you're targeting here at the 0.618 fib. There's a $10 move for you, but there you go, man. All right. I was going to say for your ASS, but you know, I don't think I could swear on these channels. And I don't think the people run the ads like that. I don't know. And maybe then the YouTube algorithm won't like that. I got to be family friendly, guys. Got to be family friendly. Roblox. Now we're just gonna. So those were all the trade ideas that I really, you know, want to put your attention on. We went over those first, but now we're just gonna update some of the trade ideas. We already did just talk about CRM, like we talked about, you know, last week and then 2 weeks ago. But Roblox, we also talked about when it was about to break out here, and then you got this break and retest. And now, you know, I just want to remind everyone this is in its early stages of this, you know, official breakout here. It's probably coming up here. So, you know, if it pulls back here, expect buyers to step in, 42.66. All right. We'll give an update on CAT over here. It's another one we pointed out just like I think it was 2 weeks ago. All right. Right off the 0.618 fib over here, golden pocket test. And now you have moved up. All right. This thing looks like it's going to be targeting 382.01, the all-time high right now. I think it potentially could happen this week. Right. AI, this is one we talked about, put it on your radar last week for this, you know, potential downtrend break. You did end up, or no, not potential. We pointed out 2 weeks ago for the potential downtrend break somewhere over here. And then last week, we pointed out going into this week because you did just break the downtrend. Again, pull back to the daily 9 here. See how you got rejection here, rejection here. Well, now you're back above. You're flipping it. If you take out 24.21, you're probably making a quick move up to 25.80, and then 27.92 is on the table. D-King, all right, we pointed this one, you know, quite some time ago. This thing, we pointed out for this move, I believe, though. Was it something like that? All right, so you had this little thing going on here. I don't know. We pointed this one out like quite a ton here. Now you have this downtrend break, and this is quite a big one. All right, on the weekly time frame, you can clearly see Hey, all right, this has been building up for quite some time. I think this thing's coming up to 44.62. That's just my opinion, all right? So, but just a little update on that one. You just got another fresh breakout. This thing just keeps having freaking breakouts. So we'll cover it when it happens. RK, we pointed this one out literally last week, coming into the week with the fresh breakout. Break and retest opportunity you got on Monday, and created a pretty nice opportunity for you. I think this is coming up to the highs at 49.55. All right, and if you do just put on a larger downtrend here, you can see, okay, you rejected right there, but you're getting ready for that breakout. HIMS, another update there. All right, broke out from the falling wedge. You actually came right here to your support, break and retest there. All right, and then now you're doing that, and just to show everything's not always perfect with this whole golden pocket strategy. And I'm not going to call it golden pocket strategy. It's definitely just a tool that I work into my TA. All right, when I look at a fresh chart, I pretty much charted them all the same. I looked at the same stuff. Right here, I just literally want to point out, I don't pick out all the stuff I show you guys. I update these charts like every day. Okay, so I don't just cherry pick out the ones that fit in my favor here. Sometimes the golden pocket literally just doesn't work, and I can't do anything about it. Right? At this point, I knew you still had this falling wedge pattern. You came down to the break and retest level. You come under 1430. Your next support was going to be 1364. But you don't know what's going to happen. Because all this is going to be dead cat bounce. You come back down here, right? When you break under here, it makes the odds very likely that you're going to be coming down here having 100% retracement. I just want to point it out. It doesn't always work out perfectly. So just keep that in mind. Nothing in this game we're all playing. It's not going to be perfect if you're charting. It's not going to be perfect if you're trading. It's definitely not going to be perfect. So just keep that one in mind. All right. Pointing out Diz on the break and retest over here. I said this isn't one I'm going to be playing because this thing has just been so weak recently. But look, it turned out to be the exact bottom. I actually ended up seeing that today when I was reviewing all my charts. I was like, wait a minute. I literally left this as a trade idea when we were at the exact bottom. I remember that day. So there's that. PayPal. All right. We put this one on your radar last week. This was the top setup going into this week. Just from what I believe, go back and, I'm pretty sure I said that. This thing and then Carvana looked pretty nasty going into this week as well. But this thing already got a nice reaction here. I think you are about to break above this high, and you could be going for a really big ride over here on PayPal. So definitely something to keep on your radar. Carvana, guys, new high this week after putting your break and retest hammer candlestick last week on that weekly candlestick. Pretty much same thing as PayPal. It was looking pretty gnarly. It's looking great. It's still looking like you're going to be pushing up to $200. I think, again, my target still stands for when we broke above here. I thought you were going to be coming up here, the 219.40. That is happening, right? The first target when we broke above here was 97.70, and we broke above there. And the next big target was going to be 219.40, guys. When I say these things, I kind of think I'm crazy because, charts, you're like, you're just looking at a chart. This isn't based off anything. Yeah, I feel the same way, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and the things happen how things happen. GME, all right, this is actually one I pointed out right when we were at the bottom over here. I think I posted on Twitter about this one. So again, plug for the Twitter. Go follow that. All these trade ideas, guys, I continuously just, I'll let you know either here or on the Twitter. Okay, if you Discord, you're just getting all of them all the time, but pay attention. Put on the post notifications. You're going to catch some things, and it's probably going to make you some money, all right? Right here, this is kind of crazy, all right? I said test of 2279 is likely, in my personal opinion, all right? I didn't say that exactly, but that's, in my post on Twitter. Now it looks like you're probably going to break out of this thing. You had I think it was like $98 million. There's an order that came in there's 98 million, or 95, we'll just say $95 million being put on calls over here on GME. That's so unusual. It's ridiculous. This thing's probably about to explode. Maybe, 30 incoming. So put it on your radar. I'm going to be watching it this week. It's going to be on my focus list this week. I think a big move over here out of GME is coming. Someone doesn't take that bet out of nowhere. I think that might be Roaring Kitty doing that. I saw it on Twitter. All right, so good things. PLTR, guys, just continuing to, make good, good stuff over here. I have no idea why this massive volume over here. You did not stop at the top of the channel like I was thinking. All right. I kind of wish I just, had longer dated calls and just was continuing to ride this thing. I'm going to say this thing was looking pretty sexy down here. It's still looking kind of sexy. Okay. I thought you would get seller step in here. You started, and I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get that pullback. You never get the pullback. This thing, it's going to keep going. It looks like it's going to keep going. Weekly time frame looks absolutely ferocious. You've already broken above, I believe, the 0.786 fib here. Keep in mind this is log scale, so it's going to look a little funky. Yeah, literally this week you broke above the 0.786 fib, and that's why I want to talk about it here. You're probably coming up here. All right, 45 likely incoming, pullback or not. If you pull back into 33.13, I like it there. Or then, you know, you're targeting you. So let's say it pulls back from right there. All right, next week we don't see a new high. We pull back. You're buying here. That's going to be a weekly 9 test as well. Probably putting a hammer candlestick off there. First target would be right here. Second target, all right, it's going to be right there. There you go. All right, so that's all I want to share with you guys today. Reviewed some charts. You know, we're all set up with all the trade ideas we're going to be paying attention to into next week. Guys, just review the list, and you know, whatever ones stand out to you the most, hey, all right, go for it. Let me know how it goes, either over in the comments over here on YouTube or over on the Twitter. Let me know, tag me, I'll respond. And I love talking to you guys. I appreciate your time. And with that being said, everybody have a lovely rest of your week. If you want to come trade futures with me every morning and then get all of my option trades and those alerts that go along with that, my entries, my trims, my exits, there you go. The link will be down below in the description, as well as the Twitter link. Again, guys, quick plug on the Twitter. I will be posting 2 to 3 charts every day over on the Twitter. This is my promise to you. So go join me over there. All right. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.